Hi everyone, I am Christian Maglacarica Frente, one of the reporters, and I'm looking forward to talking with you today about the functioning programs used on artificially intelligent virtual assistant on Apple Siri feature. Have you ever experienced to have private digital assistant who cares the most of your concerns like announce calls, messages, control your home using Siri on iPhone? Use Siri for maps and the maps widgets to get directions just by the use of it. That is rare, but maybe some of you are familiar with that technology. What we want to share with you guys is how the Siri feature on iPhone works, how Siri become possible to assist you on an iPhone and that is so interesting. In this presentation, we will have the introduction which tackles the technology, basically the deep neural network or the DNN, which runs the Siri, and the discussion all over the function of each of the elements that we will encounter later as we proceed on to it. Let's get started. The Hey Siri detector creates a probability distribution over speech sounds using an acoustic pattern of your voice at each instant using a deep neural network or the DNN. What is acoustic pattern? It has the concept of vibration and our sounds. Most obvious being the audio and the noise comes from our voice, especially when we speak Hey Siri on our iPhone. The Hey Siri detector creates a probability distribution over a speech sound using the acoustic pattern of your voice at each instant using a deep neural network or the DNN. It then computes the confidence score that the sentence you said was Hey Siri using a temporal or integration approach. But let's talk first about the threshold. So what is threshold on DNN? It is the certain condition which differ neuron to neuron. If the score exceeds the lower threshold but not the upper threshold, then it may be that we may miss Siri. That we may miss Hey Siri event. When the score is in the range, the system enters a more sensitive state for a few seconds, so that if the user repeats the pace even without making more effort, then Siri triggers. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning in artificial intelligence, or also known as AL, that deals with algorithms inspired from biological structures and functioning of a brain to aid machines with intelligence. Does it sound complicated? Let's simplify it by further breaking down each word in definitions and huddle it with more definition. We will first start with artificial intelligence, or the AL. In its most generic form, we can be defined as the quality of intelligence being introduced in machines. Machines are usually dumb, so to make them smarter, we induce some sort of intelligence so they can make a decision that can decide to ingest the right amount of water, decide on the required time for soaking and washing and spinning. Additionally, taking a decision when specific inputs provided and therefore working in a smarter way. Similarly, an ATM machine that makes a call or on disbursing the amount you want with the right combination of the notes available in the machine. The intelligence is technically induced into machine in an artificial way, and that's why the name artificial intelligence. What are some problems that solved by deep learning today? With the advent of cost-effective compute power and data storage, deep learning has been embraced in every digital corner of our day-to-day life. Three examples of common daily life digital products based on deep learning are the popular virtual assistant like Siri. Like Siri Assistant, The suggestions to tag your friends in Facebook, photo uploaded, autonomous driving in Tesla, the cat filter in Snapchat, for example, product recommendations in Amazon's and Netflix. You can ask on Siri feature on iPhone by the use of it. And it was so useful. And it is so useful rather. You might have already used a deep learning based on product without realizing it. But further explanations, a deep neural network is made of multiple interconnected units known as nodes. So what is the network nodes? Network nodes, it is the connection point in a communication network. Each node is an endpoint for data transmissions or distribution. Deep neural network is made up of multiple interconnected units. To make it simpler to understand, these are the neurons in human brain and are part of neural network. A neural initiates a process when it receives a signal. The nodes of a interconnection network could be processors, memory, units, or servers. Then the network interface of a node is the hardware connecting it to the network. Switches and communication channels are the element of the interconnection fabric. Deep learning algorithm structure similar to the organization of neurons in the brain, called an artificial neural network, or artificially neural net for short. Here's a brief description of how they function. Artificial neural networks are composed of layers of nodes. Each node is designed to behave similarly to a neuron like a brain. The first layer of a neuron net is called the input layer, followed by the hidden layers. Then finally, the output layers of each node in the neural net perform some sort of calculation, which is passed on the other nodes deeper in the neural net. A neural initiates a process when it receives a signal. Based on the input received, the signal is transmitted from the one neuron to the next. A complicated network that learns from feedback is constructed. Layers are formed from the nodes. The different levels between the input and the output layers are processed to solve a problem. The deeper the network, the more layers that must be processed. Thus, the phrase deep learning networks are more creative and complex than neural networks. Deep neural networks algorithms are capable of recognizing noises and voice in structures, making predictions, thinking creatively, and analyzing data. They function similarly to the human brain. A neural network produces a single outcome. It can take the form of an action, a word, or a solution. Deep neural networks, on the other hand, delivers solutions by solving problems worldwide based on the information provided. And that's my part.
Good morning, everyone. I am Hazel Joy D. Laban to discuss to you all about Siri together with Johaira Abdul. We all know that Siri is Apple's voice-controlled personal assistant, and she or he has been around for several years now. Siri has developed with age. Her intelligence has grown and her abilities have expanded. She has also had to keep up with Amazon's Alexa and Google Assistant. So what is special about Siri? What is she able to do? Its features, how does she do it, and what can she help you with if you are an Apple user? Here's everything there is to know about Siri. So let's talk about what is Siri. Siri is a built-in, voice-controlled personal assistant available for Apple users. The idea is that you talk to her as you would as a friend, and she aims to help you get things done, whether that be making a dinner reservation or sending a message. There is a huge amount of work in Siri that can predict what you're getting at based on keywords that you use as well as your general habits and language choice. She is designed to adapt to your individual preferences over time and personalize results. Siri's speech recognition and understanding of commands improves as the device is used. With Siri Learning, the contacts most interacted with new words, typed, and topics preferred, with all of this information kept on device and private. Siri does send data back to Apple, but searches and requests are not associated with your identity to keep your personal information safe. Siri shortcuts deliver a quick way to get things done with your apps with just a tap or by asking Siri. The Shortcuts app enables you to create personal shortcuts with multiple steps from your favorite apps. Siri can speak many languages such as English, Mandarin Chinese. Siri does all the things it was designed to do pretty well. Using it is fun too. However, some drawbacks exist as well. Let's first list the pros of Siri, and there are many reasons to love this intelligent voice assistant. Siri is very simple to use. You need to be connected to a Wi-Fi or cellular network. Siri can activate the low power mode or enable not disturb. Siri can also answer your questions, send emails, or text messages. You can keep focused on the road by using Siri to get directions, and by listening to turn-by-turn spoken directions, you can follow driving, cycling, and walking directions without even looking at your iPhone. Siri is Apple's personal assistant, and it allows you to use your voice to set reminders, set an alarm, search for information, and much more. If you're bored and want to laugh, ask Siri something funny. The answer Siri gives can be very funny. Then activate the assistant and ask something out of order.
Good day, everyone. I am Juhaira P. Abdullah, and now I will continue the discussion of Miss Laban, and I will discuss the devices that has Siri and how to use it. The iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, Hey Siri wakes up any modern Apple devices and start listening for a query. Holding down the home button on Touch ID devices on the side button on Face ID devices will also summon Siri. The iPhone may be tough just to listen for your voice, reducing inadvertent activations from ads or other users. Apple Watch. When a user Apple Watch is awake and the screen is fully turned on, saying, "Hey Siri," activates voice commands on the watch. And Apple's wearable also has a lift to uter feature which allows you to raise your watch to your mouth and speak a command without saying the wake phrase. The feature debuted on the Apple Watch Series 3 in 2015. When the digital crown is held, it summons the assistant as well. This is an easy way to catch Siri's attention without utilizing a wake phrase or a hand gesture. If unintended activations occur frequently, users can disable this approach. AirPod and Beats Pro. The second generation AirPods, AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, Power Beats Pro, and Solo Pro all support Hey Siri. A double tap motion in the first generation AirPods summon Siri. The H1 processor will read your incoming messages utilizing announced messages with Siri, and users will be able to respond to these messages without using the wake word. So when using headphones of any kind, Siri is controlled by the associate iPhone or a iPad rather than an integrated headphone-based Siri. Phones, headset, and a CarPlay will operate with some devices that have built-in microphones and are linked through Bluetooth, Lightning cable, or a audio jack. On compatible smartphones, you can summon Apple's assistants by pressing the holding the play or pause or call buttons. CarPlay functioning is determined by the hardware in the vehicle. Hey Siri or a lengthy press on the touch screen button or steering wheel call button will usually summon the assistants. In the drive, using the assistants enables for, say, free controls such as placing a call or getting directions. Interactions via CarPlay are limited to voice only. Interactions to avoid distractions to the driver. Apple TV. Siri on Apple TV has limited capabilities. Hold down the Siri button on the Siri remote to engage the assistants on Apple TV. You can request movie or music playback, use universal search to find movies or ask trivia questions, or control your house. When watching media, you can ask, "Who is in this movie?" or "What did they say?" to get Apple TV specific result. HomePod and HomePod Mini. HomePod's primary user interface is Siri. Hey Siri, or long pressing the glass surface on the HomePod top will call the assistant. Apple refers to Siri on the HomePod as a personal music expert with additional HomePod specific functions. When asked about an artist, this includes describing who they are or rather than a showing a website. And lastly, we have the Mac. On Mac, you can activate Siri by pressing the Siri button. This is accessible via the touch bar on any MacBook with touch bar or the menu bar. A keyboard shortcut can also be used to activate the helper. So, in Hey Siri, works on Macs that have built-in microphones and data chips that were manufactured after 2018. So this version is also limited with the ability to operate. We can't deny that Siri is helpful to us, but despite of these advantages, we have disadvantages. Siri can't work without an active internet connection, which is one of the biggest drawbacks of this voice assistant, because all voice commands are relied through Apple servers before returning to the phone. Siri depends on cloud computing, so you can't use it when you're offline. Siri can work very well if you end up with a poor internet connection. The maps were only translated in English, so you must speak in English to find them. Voice commands may not be interpreted by iPhone as you speak. It does not understand many languages, such as Scottish. Looking up other information sometimes defaults to restaurants and locations, and search is based on the words used. If the word is not in the description, Siri cannot find it. Siri works well, but you must speak clearly in order for Siri to understand you and do what you want. If you want to speak quickly or with a strong accent, Siri will not understand you. There are listening issues with Siri's ability to understand your queries. Siri has trouble with background noise and low-quality audio from some headsets. Siri requires Wi-Fi if your 3G connection is patchy. Siri ignores silent mode. It will always be audible. If you need your phone to be absolutely silent, you can't use Siri until your phone makes noise again. Siri features built-in support for several languages. The AI speaks English, French, and German fluently. However, Siri's navigational capabilities are limited to English. It can only use directions. Siri does not understand all spelling variations. there are multiple ways to give the same commands due to variations in human languages. Siri's learning skills aside, Siri cannot yet compound all of its action with most apps. Siri can search for something on the web or open the App Store for you, but it cannot search for something in the App Store. If you have raised to speak enable in Siri's setting, it may not always active when you raise your phone into your ear. You may still need to hold down the home button unless you find the magic motion combination that always actives this feature. Even if your phone is password lock, you can summon Siri with the home button, and in this condition, it can use to send messages and make phone calls to anyone in your contact list without unlocking your phone. So unlike many GPS gadgets, you can choose and select your voice or Siri's voice. Siri can also use for learning. Although Siri is not specifically an educational program, Siri could soon come to play a big part in the classroom. Siri is used in record keeping. Teachers have to maintain much documentation of their kids, and many have streamlined the process of note-taking and documenting conferences with the students and parents by using Siri. Siri is used in calling and emailing. Teachers don't have to lose their place in gradebooks and exam when they come across the need to call or email a parent or a colleague about a troubled student or an upcoming meeting. Siri is used in problem solving. School kids can keep track on homework, project, and tests. Older students in high school and college use Siri for taking notes and transcribing lectures. Siri can be a mathematical wizard. It can solve simple equations and more complex problems. It can open apps by voice command. It can save time. It would be difficult for a student to use voice recognition software to cheat on a test in a small, quiet classroom. And the teachers that are using Siri should be creative with the software, restricting questions to only ones Siri can answer.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, could you teach me how to cook an apple pie? Say thanks in Japanese, make a paper plane that flies. Hey Siri, could you cancel my alarm at 8:05? Cause lately I can't sleep, I've been spending all my time just trying to find all of the answers to the questions that you can't look up online. Cause I can't shake the feeling that we're only born to die. Hey Siri, what's the meaning of life? Hey Siri, could you tell me how to fix my broken heart? No, I made it stop, I just can't get it to start. Hey Siri, are you happy? Do you wish that you could cry? Are you as lost as me? Are you spending all your time just trying to find all of the answers to the questions that you can't look up online? Cause I can't shake the feeling that we're only born to die. Hey Siri, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of What's the meaning of life?
I'm not sure I understand.
What's the meaning of
I think you're pretty great today.
life? What's the meaning of life?
I love you.
Hey Siri, what's the meaning of life?